This is K-Rockcast, the podcast where music and perspectives collide.
I'm Anne, a music lover who's the ultimate fan.
And I'm Kelly, a professional musician. Join us as we dive into the world of the Rose and other Korean and Asian rock bands.
Sometimes we'll agree, sometimes we'll wildly disagree, but what's guaranteed is a passionate, hilarious, and unfiltered conversation about the music that unites us and the bands that inspire us.
On today's show,
Hi, everybody. We're back with another K-Rock Recommends episode. And Kelly, I know today you are so excited to introduce our listeners and our viewers to, I think, what is your current favorite band out there? Is that an accurate statement?
It might be. It might ever so slightly be. Yeah, it is. I might be
So
just a
why
little
don't you
excited.
introduce us today to Cloudian?
Yes. So, people, I'm going to introduce you to one of my favourite acts out there at the moment. This is a band called Cloudian. Cloudian are a South Korean band based in Busan, and they create epic rock. They are amazing. Now, the reason that I absolutely adore what they do is not only are they insane songwriters with the ability to make music across the board. We are talking about this being 6 of the best musicians I have heard in a very, very long time. For me to say that, you know they're good.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, exactly. So Cloudian describe their musical sound as epic rock. And it's a blend of rock, and it has very heavy sort of cinematic leanings to what they do. But they also mix in other stuff there. So you get like traditional Korean music with few different Korean instruments in there. And there's hip hop elements and all sorts of weird and wonderful things as well. The band actually started out in 2017, and it was a completely different lineup to what we see now. The original lineup was the vocalist Dowell, Max on drums, percussion, backing vocals, and he was the main lyricist as well. Sue on guitar, and then we had Brighton on vocals and the bass. And the band released their first album at this point, and it was. They actually described it as market research, which I find the most insane way.
What did they mean by that?
I mean, so in 2018, most bands, when they first come onto the scene, go, we're going to release an EP or we're going to do a single. Not these guys. And they decided that they were going to release The Unknown Tale, which was a full album. And every single song on the album has a different flavour to it. It's like, weirdly enough, it's a little bit like a tasting menu when you go to a high-end restaurant. It's like, you're going to get a little taste of everything, but it's still got this level of cohesion in it. The band started to evolve, and then, of course, it's Korea, military duty called. And the guys did their military duty. I think Brighton was the first one to actually go in. And when they came out, the band sort of, it wasn't there. So Brighton started it afresh. And oh my God, was it the best idea to do it? So the first album's good, don't get me wrong. It's more metal leaning, I think, in a way. So it's got some hints of screamo and bits and pieces like that in it. But it's not quite this fully formed sound that it is now. And when I say it's a fully formed sound, it is fully formed. So once Brighton came out of the military, the lineup kept evolving and changing in bits and pieces. So they released another album called Redefine in 2020, which is a fabulous album. May I just point that out? It's a really good album. And you could tell that the sound was forming. By this point, it was actually Brighton on vocals for the mass majority of it. And then in 2022, they released Lucci, which was an EP, which is interesting, because then we get into this whole sort of lore and story narrative, which is another thing once I explain about the band, because these guys have as much lore about them as Sleep Token. The actual lineup that we see now kind of came into being in sort of 2024, and my god, these 6 guys are so talented. There is literally no way around explaining this. They work with Chrome Entertainment, and honestly, I think these guys are gonna go somewhere, and they are gonna go somewhere big. So we have Brighton, as I've mentioned, who is the lead vocalist. He occasionally plays bass, but generally speaking, now his job is fronting the band. His vocals, now this is something I really need to point out here. He has a fantastic voice, he has a fantastic range, and his voice can go from something which is melodic and deep, and it has this warmth to it. And then he can literally pull the power in it like 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 proper hard rock power singers, and he pushes that through. And then he go to the other extreme, and he can do this dry fry voice that you get, which is like in the screamo area, so he can really get these growl vocals in place. And that's just amazing for one guy to be able to do the entire gamut. That just says
Yeah,
something
wow.
about his vocal ability. Honestly, it's kind of impressive to watch, because you just don't expect it at all. Then we have Liam on guitar. What can we say about Liam's playing other than the fact of the guy is a virtuoso? I can honestly and truthfully, I mean, you heard the effect that Slowly had on me, because it was so well played.
Mhm.
Pretty much every time I hear Liam play, it has the same effect. The guy is amazing. It is just precise and technical, but there is such warmth and understanding of his craft in everything that he does. But we'll get onto that a little bit more in a bit. Then we have NN on bass, and we have Logan on drums, and Han. Now, Han plays the Bok and the Django, and they're 2 traditional drums, a bit like a Kyoto drum, that type of big
Mm.
drum. And he also DJs as well. So can you see where we're going here? There's the traditional, and
What an interesting, yeah.
at the other side of it,
Mhm.
we've got ultra modern. We've got a guy who's literally 1 minute playing a very traditional drum, and the next minute he's hitting sample pads. It's really interesting to watch. And then we have OM on strings as well. And when I
So
say
what an
that,
interesting band makeup. I mean, very different, I think, than what we see out there and with the other Korean rock
yeah,
bands that we've kind of been exploring in terms of the makeup. Yeah.
the,
Have you ever
as,
seen any video of them playing live?
yes. Oh, I
So
am.
are all of them participating throughout,
Oh,
like even like in terms of the traditional drums and then
all the way
the
through.
DJ pads, like it's
All the
all
way
kind of
through.
built in.
Literally.
Okay,
All
interesting.
6 of them will perform all the way through. Nobody takes a back seat in what they're doing. They've just completed a European tour, and the European tour just looked unbelievable. They were playing small clubs. Oh my god, I couldn't get over to the gig in Paris, and I really wish that I'd gone. They've literally just released a video of it, and it just looked such a fantastic show. It's just got this pure power behind everything that they do, and the level of craftsmanship is unreal. So their gamut of influences is quite interesting. So they'll go from sort of things like Bring Me the Horizon, and then Starset, and then Nightwish, which is kind of territory for some of the stuff that I do, which gives them that epic thing. But then you've also got nods to sort of like some of the great early 90s, late 80s acts like Mr. Big and all of those type of bands as well. And
Mhm.
I love me some Mr. Big. And it is so amazing to see how they can take all of this sound and mix it together just to create something that is completely and utterly unique and very much them. So we've not only have you got this wonderful back catalogue of albums and EPs, they started to hit us up with singles. So last year in 2024, we had You'll See, which has beautiful, beautiful single. Yeah, because there's a couple of tracks on each of these single releases. Let's try it again. No, we got nothing to lose. It'll happen again. No need to be afraid, cause we'll fight against everything that brings us down. We gotta learn how to dance inside the storm. Don't just hide until it ends. Get into this storm, grooving through all of these things. Then you can start over. And then Reckless One. So obviously we talk about hip hop, and there is a bridge breakdown in here where literally we have Brighton rapping, and it is some of the best rap I've heard.
Oh,
So
wow.
on top of this, I mean, the guy can scream and the guy can rap. It's like, just, look, dude, stop it now. This is not fair. Just stop. And then this year, and this really to me sort of just hit the nail on the head, and it really cemented who they are as a band. They released the 3-track single Gardener, and this was the full package. That song itself is fantastic, but it really brings home the whole lore behind everything they do. When they write, there's a saga that goes on within the stories behind everything. So don't get me wrong, there are love songs in there and bits and pieces like that and everyday songs, but there's also this lovely little story plot that goes through everything. And it forms such a heavy cinematic visual of everything they're doing, which Brighton has quite a heavy hand in controlling as well, because he's involved with the directing of the videos and the production and all of those type of things. And this is so interesting to watch because you can see this heavy fantasy element and sci-fi element to all of it. This is this kind of story of a waterless dystopian future after an apocalyptic event and the regeneration of hope through Cloudian, obviously, cloud people. And there's this storyline thread, and there's elements mentioned through all of it. And those elements are fire, water, iron, blood, and light. Think Last Airbender. Can you see where we're coming from with this? And I honestly, I love it. The video for Gardener is amazing. So if you get a chance to watch it, just, yeah, we'll play a little clip anyway. So hopefully you can see it. Now, I introduced these to Anne, and I said to Anne, you've got to have a listen to them. I think you'll like them. I know they do rock and metal, but they're really good. There's that definite, real sort of pop melody hook with everything. But I said to Anne, how about you have a look at some of their cover versions? And what did you think, Anne?
Yeah, I loved the covers. I mean, I've put them out through K-Rock Cast. I mean, I love the ones you have in the notes, like like Call Me Maybe is is my go-to karaoke song. I think I said on K-Rock Cast, I wonder if we could convince them to come on K-Rock Cast, if we could start a new like K-Rock karaoke. Like, is that a new segment you think we can do?
Do
You
we
think they'd
really have
do, you
to?
think they'd record a karaoke with us? I wonder if they would.
Probably. But that is a scary thought. K-Rock karaoke. Do we have to go down that route?
I mean, that seems to be kind of what they do, put out these covers. That would be
They
kind of
do.
fun.
They're brilliant. Check out their actual Instagram and their YouTube. They have got all of these posted. But there's Hunter X Take Me Down, which Han takes the lead on. Goo Goo Dolls, and their version of Iris, which Brighton does as acoustic, which is stunning. One of the ones that literally I think I've watched half a dozen times because I just can't get over how good it is Liam playing I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith. I'm a huge Aerosmith fan. I have seen that band about 15 times.
Mm.
I hate to say it, he plays that guitar solo better than Joe Perry. I never thought I'd say that about anybody. He
Hey,
honestly does. He is so good.
I'm
Then we've
sure he
got
would
Logan.
love to hear that.
Oh my god! No, seriously, the man is so good. They're all good. They're all brilliant. Then we've got Logan doing a version of Skrillex's First of the Year, and it's like, okay, the guy can drum. He knows what he's doing. And then, not to be outwitted by any of them, we have OM who does a violin version of Joe Satriani's Summer Song. Now, if anybody knows Joe Satriani, he is the guitar virtuoso, and Summer Song is one of the most difficult things in the world to play. This man plays it on a violin. It is amazing.
Wow.
They're so good.
Mm.
I mean, I could literally wax lyrical about them just as musicians, but
Yeah.
their music's amazing, and I honestly, it's been on repeat now for weeks and weeks and weeks. And when I say it's been on repeat for weeks and weeks and weeks, I mean literally everything is on an entire playlist, and there's one track off the first album that I skip, and that is it. Everything gets played all the way through. I think people really
Yeah, I
like.
think also they have great energy in
Oh my god,
terms of just kind of, you know, their personalities. And I think these covers are fun,
they
you know,
are.
just kind of putting their personality out there and just kind of seeing who they are, but you know, behind their music. So yeah, well, check them out. Check out Cloudian. Hopefully all of you viewers and listeners will enjoy their music as much as Kelly does. I'm just getting into them, you know. They seem great, excited to explore them more. So thank you so much, Kelly, for bringing us Cloudian. All right. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.